Right, so I have shared my whiteboard. You would be able to see it in a few minutes or seconds, maybe, not minutes. Okay. Okay. So we are talking about the third chapter, that is coordinate geometry. It is a new section. We will talk about the equation of a circle today. So let's get started. Okay. Now, basically, what we know is, let's say this is a circle, right? If we talk about circles, the most important thing is basically their center and their radius, right? So let's say this is the center somewhere here with coordinates A and B. Now, what does this A mean? This A means that on the x-axis, this point would be A, and on the y-axis, this point would be B. Okay, so we are done with the center of the circle. That would be a point with xy coordinates, and we need to talk about its radius. So the radius is basically any length from the circumference to the center. So all these pink lines are basically the radius of the circle. Okay, so basically these are the two most important things which we need to know about a circle, and we will be using these two important things in its equation. Okay, so let's start our discussion with the general form of the equation of a straight line. So it is x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equals r square. Okay, so yes, now this is the general form of the equation of a circle, right? Not only this, but through the general form, you know two things: the center coordinates and the radius. And I can always say that this is the equation of this green line. Why? Because this green line has center at AB and radius R. And this equation written in the pink box basically implies that center of this circle is basically at A and B, and the radius is R. Okay, for example, let's say you have been told that there's a circle with this equation: x minus 2 square plus y minus 3 square equals 25. Okay, so you know this, right? What you have to do is you need to make the circle that is basically corresponding to this equation. So let's make the x's first. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. Acha, as I've been telling you guys, for the plotting of a circle or for the equation, the most important thing is its center. So what do we know? If this is the general form, this means that positive A and positive B are the x and y coordinates of the center. So if this is the equation, the coordinates of center would be 2 and 3. And the radius would be, we have r square here. This means that r square would be 25. So r would be under root 25, that is 5. Okay. So the center would be at 2, 3. It would be 2 and 3. This would be the center and the radius is 5. Okay. So if I make the circle, it would be not exactly this. Wait a second. It would be something of this type. And I would know that the radius is 5. So this distance is 5. So let's say if this is 2, then if I make a proper horizontal line like this radius, so I would know that this point is 2 plus 5, right? That would be 7. Similarly, this point would be minus 3, right? because this length again would be 5, and so on. This would be 5 as well because that is also the radius. So it means that this would be 2, right? Did you understand the plotting? No? Okay. All right. Okay. Let's talk about an example over here then. Acha. I am telling you that we have x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square equals 25, right? This is the equation of a circle. You need to plot your circle. What do you know about the general form? About the general form, you know that x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equals r square, and the center is AB with radius r. So Gayatri, what would be the center using this example number 1? What do you understand by the center? If the center here is A and B, obviously it would be 2 and 3, right?
Yes, miss.
So the center would be 2, 3, and the radius would be what? This is r
5.
square. Yeah, radius would be 5.
5.
Okay, very good. Okay, so you are clear with this much part. Okay, no problem. So let's draw the y-axis and the x-axis. Okay, these are the two axes. This is y and this is x. Okay, and I know this would be my center. So let's say this is 2, this is 3. So this should be the center. Okay, what else do I know? That the radius is 5. So I will make a circle first and then talk about the other stuff. So it would be, let's say this is my circle. Okay, this is my circle. Wait a second. Or maybe wait a second. This is my circle, and then I can just draw the dot again. Okay, so it should be in the exact center. So let's say this is the center. Just trust me, it's the center. Okay, even if it doesn't look like, because we are just plotting it, we are just sketching it, and this is 3. Okay, anything that you have not understood so far, since the center would be 2, 3, so this point would be 2 and this point would be 3, right? Is this okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, radius is 5. This means that the length from the center to the circumference at any point would be 5. That means this would be 5. This would also be 5. This would also, although it's not looking like that, but it is 5. Okay, so we know that this would be 5. This would also be 5, and this would also be 5. Okay, now let's talk about other stuff. Let's say this point is 2 and we move 3 units to the negative x-axis. So what would be this point? It would be 2 minus 3, right, Gayatri?
No, miss, I didn't get your point. What are you trying to say?
Okay. What is this number?
-2.
Is it minus 2 or it's 2?
No, it's positive 2. 2. Sorry.
When you will move 5 units to the negative x-axis, what would be the value of x?
-3.
1, 0, -1, -2, and -3, right? So this would be -3 because the radius is 5. Okay. And similarly, if we move 5 units to the positive side, because that is the radius, let me redraw the circle
Positive.
just so it makes more sense.
+2.
Yes. Okay. This should be the circle. Something of this type, maybe. Yes. Okay. So we know that this length is total 5. And this point is 2. So what would be this point? What would be the x coordinate of this point?
7.
Very well done. Excellent. Okay. And this point right here, this is the center, its y coordinate was 3. So if its y coordinate is 3, if we move 5 units down, what would be the y coordinate of this point?
-2.
Minus 2.
Very well done. And what would be the y coordinate at the like this point, the one which I'm just give me a second. This would be the radius and this point. So if this is 3, 3 plus 5, that would be 8, right? Yes, excellent. Okay. So basically, this is the idea about the circle, its center, its radius, and these 4 points, which I just mentioned on the graph using this idea that if this is the center, if I am moving 5 units to the right, to the left, above or down, my points and coordinates would be what according to that, right? So did you understand? Ishal, did you understand this as well? Yes, Ashal? Okay, perfect. So she did as well. Okay, so this was an example. Acha. Okay, let's talk about some more examples and then you will get a better idea about it. Okay, let's say that this time my question is, write down the coordinates of the center and radius of each circle. Okay, so I will be writing down a few equations and we will see what would be the center and radius of those circles. Okay, let's talk about the first example. Let's say it is x square plus y square equals 4. So now in this case, what do we see? We see that if I write it down as the general form, it can be written this way. Right? So this means that the x coordinate of the center is 0, the y coordinate of the center is 0. This means that the center is at 0, 0 and the radius is 2, right? So if I want to plot this, let's do the plotting as well because that is very, very important. So I would know that the center is at 0. If this is the center, my circle would be of this type. Okay, now I know, Gayatri, I know that the radius is 2. Radius is 2. If this is the center, then this should be positive 2 because that is the radius, and this should be negative 2 because this is the radius. Again, this is positive 2 and this is negative 2. Did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because this is the radius, that is 2 basically. Okay, let's talk about another example then. Let's say we have been asked to write down the center and the radius of the circle. X minus 2 square plus y minus 4 square equals 100. Okay, so far we have just discussed the general form of the equation of a circle, that is x minus a. I will write it down again and again just so you guys get comfortable with this. Y minus b square equals r square, where the center of the circle is at AB. Why AB? Because this is A and this is B and the radius of the circle is R basically. This is the radius. Okay. So if we use this general form in order to find the center and the radius of the above equation, what are we going to conclude? This point is 2, this point is 4. So this means A is 2. Very good, Gayatri. Excellent. A is 2 and Y is 4. And what is the radius? Very well done. Excellent. Okay. R is 10. So this means that if I plot this, first thing is to plot the center. It would be at 2, 4. If this is 2, this should be 4. It would be somewhere here. Now let's just make the circle and then we will talk about the other coordinates. Okay. So it is going to be no, it's not the center. Okay, maybe this one. Right. Now we know that the radius of the circle is 10, right? So this distance would be 10. Let me just make a horizontal line just so we can find the x coordinate as well. Okay, this is 10. This is also 10. Okay, now we know that this distance is 10. So if let's say this point is 2, then what would be this point? It would be 10 plus 2. That is 12. Very good. And what would be this point? What would be the x coordinate of this point?
Minus 10.
Not minus 10 because the center is at 2, right? So
Oh, sorry, minus 8.
minus 8. Very good. Okay. And what would be the y coordinate at this point?
14.
Very good. And what about the y coordinate at this point?
Minus 6.
Minus 6, right? Excellent. So anything that you have not understood about this, all the students? Ishal, Munjar, Haris, did you understand all this?
Oh, yes, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Acha, Haris, okay. So Haris, basically, since you joined late, I'll give you a quick idea. We are talking about the equation of a circle, okay? It's very simple. This is the general form. If I said this is the general form, this A is basically the x coordinate of the center. This is the center, its x coordinate would be 2. So A is 2 in our example. And this B is basically 4 in our example. That is the y coordinate of our point, right? Sabse pehle you need to find out the center. Once you have a center, let's talk about the radius. If this is 100, then the radius would be 10 because this value is basically r square. So 100 means r square equals 100 and r would be 10. Okay. This is 2. The x coordinate of this point is 2. You move 10 units to the positive x-axis. What would be this point? This point would be 12. Again, this point is 2. You move 10 units to the negative x-axis. What would be this point? 2 minus 10. That would be minus 8, right? Now this is 4. Your radius is 10. You need to go 10 units above and 10 units down. When you will go 10 units above, this point would be 14, the y-axis point. And the y-axis point on the lower side would be 4 minus 10, that is minus 6, right? So this is how basically we plot the circle. So did you understand the plotting now? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's talk about another example then. This time the question is, find the equation of the circle with center minus 4 and 3 and radius 6. Okay. So now you need to find the equation of the circle with this center and this radius, and you need to be very careful with the sign. Okay, this time we have -4. Okay, that's completely fine. Let's write down the general form. Every time, whenever you have been asked something related to circles, always refer to the general form of a circle. That is x minus a square plus y minus b square equals r square. We just need to plug in the values. What is the center? Center is -4 and 3. This means that a would be -4 and b would be 3, because a is the x coordinate of the center, that is -4, and b is the y coordinate of the center, that is 3. So it would be x minus -4 square plus y minus 3 square equals r square. Okay, what is r? R is 6. So 6 and then square simply, and then x minus into -4 would be +4 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square equals 36. So this would be the equation of our circle with center -4 and 3 and radius 6. So did you understand this, all of you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, welcome. And what about other students? Gayatri, Haras, and Vishal? Okay, yes. All right. Okay. So these were some simple examples. Now let's talk about another example that is very, very important. Let's say A is the point 30 and B is the point 7 and -4. Okay. Now we know that A is a point with coordinates 30 and B is a point with 7 and -4. The question is, find the equation of the circle that has AB as a diameter. Okay. Now, before thinking about the solution, we need to understand the question. Now, we have 2 points. A has coordinates 30, B has coordinates 7 and -4, and they want us to find the equation of a circle with what? Whose diameter is AB. Okay, so let's plot this first and then we will talk about how to go about this question. Okay, so this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. Although you don't necessarily need to plot this, but still, just for the understanding. What is A point? A point is 30. So what does 30 means? That the x coordinate is 3 and the y coordinate is 0. So it is somewhere here, this. So this is my first point. The the second one, the B point is 7 and -4. So x coordinate is 7 and the y coordinate is -4. So this means that it would be somewhere here. Okay. Now this basically is the B point. I will just join a line just so things make more sense. This is basically the diameter of my circle. Acha, let's try making the circle now around this diameter. So, not this. Okay. Something of this type, right? that the central line is basically AB, which is the diameter of this circle. Okay, now again, in order to find the equation of a circle, we need two things. We need the center point, we need this point, the center point, and its radius. So can you guys tell me how to find the center point and radius using the given information? That's very easy. Now things would make more sense. Anyone? Anyone who would like to contribute? Okay, no. All right, that's fine. So we need to find the center point and we need to find the radius. Acha, we know the coordinates of this point, 3, 0, that is A, and we know the coordinates of B, that are 7 and -4. So don't you think that the center of the circle would basically be the center of AB, the midpoint of AB, right? Center of circle would be equal to the midpoint of AB. And we know how to find the midpoint of AB when we have the coordinates of A and B, right? How do we find the midpoint of AB? So it would be 3 plus 7 divided by 2, because the x coordinate of first point is 3 and the x coordinate of the second point is 7. Yes?
10 and -2.
10 and -2. Why?
No, 5 or -2.
Okay, okay. The final answer. Very well done. Very well done. Excellent. Excellent, Gayatri. So it would be 5 and -2. Very well done. So the center has turned out to be 5 and -2. Very good. Now, what is the next thing? We are done with the center. We need the radius. How do we find the radius? Yes. So basically, if this is the circumference point and if this is the center, the distance between these 2 points is basically my radius. I know how to find the distance between 2 points using the distance formula, right? So radius would basically be the length of AB divided by 2, or it could be directly the length of the point A and the midpoint, right? So I will go about this way. It is the length of, let's call this point C. This point is C and this point is basically A. So it would be length of AC. How do we find the length of AC? Yes, tell me the answer. How do we find it? So it is, the formula is x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, right? So what are the x and y coordinates of the 2 points? 5 and -2, 3 and 0. Let's call it x2 and y2, and let's call the first point 3, 0 as x1 and y1. So this is x1 and this is y1, okay? So what would be the radius now? It would be under the root x2 is 5, x1 is 3 square plus -2 minus 0 square. If you're not able to understand it, don't worry. It's just a formula to find the length, okay? That is why we are using it here. So it would be 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 square is 4, plus, again we have 2 square, that would be 4. So this is under root 8. Okay, now we have a radius, we have the center point. How do we find the equation of the circle? Let's do it here. Equation of the circle would be x minus a, x minus the x coordinate of the midpoint, that is 5. Okay, it is 5. So it would be x minus 5 whole square plus y minus the y coordinate, that is -2 whole square plus equals radius square. Radius is under root 8 and it's square. So it would be x minus 5 square plus y plus 2 square equals 8. This would be the equation of a circle. So did you understand, everyone, all the students?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And what about other students? Gayatri, Haris, Ashal? Okay. All right. Okay, perfect. So we are done with this example as well. Okay. Let's talk about another important thing, again about circles. Let's say that this time the question is find the center and the radius of the circle that is x square plus y square plus 10x minus 8y minus 40 equals 0. Now this is your equation and they want you to find the center and the radius of the circle. So how do you do this question? If you start comparing it with the general form, it's very, very different, right? In the general form, we don't have such terms. We have x minus a whole square plus y minus b square equals r square. Okay, we can take this 40 to the other side, but what about this 10x and 8y? We need to get rid of this. How do we do that? Any idea? Okay. Acha, are you guys aware of the completing the square method? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have, let's write down the x terms. X square plus 10x minus 8y plus y square minus 40 equals 0. Let's write down our end goal. We need to get something of this type, x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equals r square y, just so I know the coordinates of the center and the radius, right? That is the question basically. Okay. Acha. So in order to get something of this type, when you have something of this type, you need to apply completing square method. Now, how do we go about this? Okay. So again, this is x square. Think about this. A square plus 2ab plus b square equals a plus b whole square, right? Are you guys familiar with this expansion, with this quadratic formula?
Yes.
Okay. So think about this x square as your a square. Okay, so we have a square plus 2a. In order to get 10, what do I have? I will have to write 5. Okay, this means this is my b. Then I need to write down 5 square, just so I can write this thing as this thing, and finally I get something of this type. But in maths, you cannot just add something directly. You need to subtract that as well, just so it is mathematically correct. I repeat, okay? We had this only x square plus 10x, and we want to get something of this type. To get something of this type, we basically need to follow this formula. So we have a square, we have 2ab, we need to have this number. So what we do is, generally, if you were not able to understand it this way, just know that we add and subtract the square of half this number. Okay, Gayatri, I am applying this formula just so I am able to complete the square. Okay, that is the logic basically. Acha. Now I need to do the same stuff on this side as well for the other for the y. How do we do it? Okay, Now for y, again, let's just rewrite it in a much better way. It should be plus y square minus 8y minus 40. Okay, look, I will do the same thing again, okay? Plus, now we have to follow these two. Forget about this 40. I have y square minus 8y. I need to add and subtract this term just so I get something of this type. Okay. So y square will come as it is, minus 8y will come as it is. Now we need to follow this formula. A square minus 2ab plus b square equals a minus b whole square, right? I have y square, okay? I have minus 2ab, I need this b. What would be my b this time? Just remember, b is half this number. So it would be 4 square.
4 square minus 4 square.
Very well done, excellent, okay? Minus 40 will come as it is. Okay, equals 0. Now we need to understand something. So let's put brackets around this part and this part, because we know that I can write it as a plus b whole square. This would be x plus 5 whole square. Then I have minus 25. Then plus, what can I write for this expansion? Y square minus 8
Y minus 4 whole square.
Very good. Y minus 4 whole square. And then this would be minus 16
Minus 40.
minus 40. Very well done, guys. So this would be x plus 5 square plus y minus 4 square. I will take all this to the other side because this is how I have in the general form. So it would be 40 plus 16 plus 25. And what is the sum? Yes, it would be 81, right?
81.
Very
Yeah.
good. Excellent. Okay. Now this is the general form of a circle. And now I can find the center and the radius. So what is the center? Center is basically, yes, guys, what would be the center?
-5 and +4.
Very well done. Okay, it's minus 5 because in general form we have minus. Since we have plus here, it means that we need to rewrite this as x minus minus 5. Okay, so that minus 5
And-
would basically by a. Yes,
9 is our radius.
very well done. Yes, excellent. 9 would be the radius. Okay, excellent, Gayatri. So is this clear? Every student, Haris, Ashal, Munja, and like Gayatri, everyone, are you guys comfortable with this concept now?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. What about other students? Okay, we can write it as minus 5 and 4 in brackets. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, so that is it for today. Anything that you have not understood in this part?
Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
I have another question to ask you on topic of functions.
Okay, no, we are talking about circles right now. Just let's discuss this and then I will stop the recording and then we'll talk about that. Okay. So no questions for this.
No.
Okay, let me stop the recording. Okay.